Hey there, this is Krisha Young, your success coach and sabotage slayer, and this is another training video in the Human Design series. And this one is all about how to communicate between the different types of people within, if you're following the Human Design way of life and way of living and all of that. And seeing as you've purchased this and you're here, chances are you are following it to a degree, or maybe you're all in. So the reason why I decided to do this particular training video is because, um, there is a lot of miscommunication that happens between people. I mean, we know this. Communication isn't a new topic. This is widely discussed, and it is a very important part of any kind of relationship. I mean, we've got like relationship coaches with couples, and who will tell you that one of the number one reason for a breakdown in relationship is communication. And as a business owner who has been running a business for several years now, I can also tell you any of the problems that I've ever had in my business have come down to a breakdown in communication, whether that is a misunderstanding, or you think you hear something but something else is being said, or whatever. So I'm not going to go into the depths of actual like communication strategies here, beyond just being able to understand how to communicate within the different types. And depending on what your type is, how you would best communicate and how you're best communicated to, in the hopes that this will at least alleviate some pressure and allow you the opportunity to be able to have better communication with the people in your lives and help them understand how they can have better communication with you too. And yeah, so enjoy this video, enjoy this training, and I will see you at the end. All right, so with this training, you should have also received this digital guide, which is what I'm calling the Human Design Translator. And what I've done in here is, reiterated what I just said to you right now about how communication breakdowns are usually as a result of, just misunderstandings, not really understanding how to communicate with that other person so that you get the best results out of them, right? And so in this translator, I'm going to take you through it. This is something that you can print out and have in your office or have in on your fridge at home, because guaranteed you have run charts on all of your family members, probably your team members. And so you have a general idea of the people in your life, what their, at least their type is. And even if you don't know anything else really about human design at this point, just knowing their type and then knowing how to talk to them, I think you'll find that your relationships will really, really, really improve. So on this sheet, you have space to write down what your type is, what your strategy is, and what your authority is. And so on your chart that you would have run yourself, and the best place to do that is jovianarchive.com. I think it's /get your chart. But if you just go to their homepage, there should be a button there somewhere that says get your chart. And all you need is your birthday. You need to have your birth time. It's really important to have your birth time. If you don't have it, you can put like 12:01 p.m. You'll get a fairly accurate chart. It should be correct in terms of your type and your strategy and your authority and things like that. But then there might be some inaccuracies in some of the deeper details. So if you're thinking about going way deep into human design, make sure that you get your exact birth time, so that you can have the most accurate chart possible. So this information is can be found on your chart. So here's how it goes, okay? I'm a generator, so hi other generators. If you're a generator, in order to get the best out of us in terms of communication, you need to ask us questions, but not these open-ended questions. So time after time after time, working with other mentors and coaches or other people or whatever, I would always be asked these like, what do you want to do questions? Like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Like these big, broad questions. And I know that these are questions also asked in interviews. And it's incredibly difficult for a generator to answer a question like that. We are literally become like a deer in the headlights, and because we're not being asked in the correct way. What we need is kind of like a list, right? Do you want A or do you want B? Do you want A, B, or C? Not too many choices, but a couple of choices. So let's play this around for a minute. Let's say we're looking to go out for dinner, okay? And you say to me, where do you want to go for dinner? I'd be like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. It's almost impossible for me to know that answer from that question. I'm not stupid. I enjoy all kinds of different foods. I have my favorite places, but it's just the wrong way to get that information out of me. And if you're asking generators that type of question and they're going, I don't know, and you're getting frustrated with them, it's the wrong question. So instead, just simply ask, where would you like to go? What are you feeling, or what would you like to have for dinner? Do you want Chinese or do you want Japanese? Or I've got Italian or Japanese. Now, as a generator, we can kind of like, no, I'm not feeling Japanese. No, I'm not feeling Italian. Right? That would be our response. And so then the person asking the question could suggest two other options. Okay, so how about Spanish or Chinese? Whatever, you get the picture, right? It gives us a chance to respond. Generators are here to respond, and this includes manifesting generators as well. So we are all here to respond to questions, right? Otherwise, we're initiating, and that's not natural for us. We feel like we should be able to initiate. We feel like we should be able to answer that question, but it's not really possible unless we already have an idea of what exactly it is that we want. But if we're just literally just kind of randomly sitting there and you're like, hey, where do you want to go for dinner? It's like, I don't know. Now, if you have emotional authority, and this applies to every type who has emotional authority, you might need a little bit more time. And so I have emotional authority. I might need like a few minutes to make that decision. I might never, ever actually get 100% clear on my decision. I might just know that I don't want, Japanese, or I don't want Chinese, or I don't want Italian. But then I'm open to something else, but I don't know what that something else is until maybe I get to the restaurant, and then it's like, oh, now I see the menu, and yeah, that's cool, right? So that can be really frustrating for the person who's trying to make a plan and trying to get an answer and all of that kind of stuff. I get that. But if you just remember, give us options, right? A, B, or C. And if they have emotional authority, give us a little bit of time to respond, right? We can't often just make like snap decisions in the moment, A or B, unless of course we're in a life or death situation, which hopefully none of you are. But just give us a few minutes to, absorb what you've said and feel into how we feel about it, and recognize that people with emotional authority may never actually 100% feel that true conviction in something until we're actually there. And then it's like, oh yeah, this is a yes, this is an aha, or this is a yes, or whatever your authority tends to be, okay? For manifesting generators, you guys have a little bit of a nuance because you have the tiny little flavor of manifesting in there. And this generally means that because you have the connection from what's called a motor center straight to your throat, you have that capability to go a little bit faster than a generator could, right? But you still need to be asked questions. And you also have the ability to be able to kind of like taste test it a little bit. So if somebody asks you Chinese or Italian for dinner, you can kind of like get into the headspace of imagining yourself in the Japanese restaurant, or imagining yourself in the Italian restaurant, and then you can make a decision from that particular place. But it's still in response to a choice. Okay, it can't be where do you want to go for dinner. It needs to be something a little more specific. This is a very generic example, obviously, as business owners or professionals or whatnot, the questions can be a little bit more complicated. And so what I do with my team is I ask them, when they ask me, Krisha, what do you want to do about this? I usually retort back by saying, well, what are my options? Can you give me 3 or 4 options so that I can take this away and decide? Right? They are used to me now. And so they will come to me with 3 or 4 choices. They don't just ask, what do you want to do? And that was a problem. That was an issue that I had for a really long time, especially when I had staff before the team that I'm working with right now. And I didn't know what my design was. They would ask me, Krisha, what do you want to do about this? And I'd be like, I don't know. And then I started to feel like the world's worst business owner, because it's like, how come I can't make a decision? And then when I realized, oh, it's because I need choices, that made all the difference in the world. And so just being able to have that, like, okay, Krisha, here's option 1, here's option 2, here's option 3, knowing that I have emotional authority, I can say, okay, great, thank you. Let me take these options away and let me make a decision. I don't always need to have time to make a decision. Sometimes I am able to make a snap decision in the moment if it's something that I've already been researching and already been thinking about and already been, planning for. And then when the moment comes, I can make decisions in the moment like that. But if it's a brand new thing, I might need a little bit of time. And if you have emotional authority, perhaps you can resonate with that as well. All right. Now, if you are a manifestor, you are here to initiate. You're here to put something out there and impact people, right? My son is a manifestor, and it's really fascinating to watch him. He will be like, he's 5. The other day he was like, hey, want to see something dangerous? Literally, he asked me that question as he was doing it. It's a very different style. It's like, I'm not going to be stopped. Nobody is going to stop me. I'm just going to go ahead and do this thing, which is fantastic. I mean, that is what manifestors are here to do, because generators and projectors and reflectors, we have a very different style. We need to have somebody like a manifestor who takes that kind of fast action and informs and has that level of impact for us. However, there is a little bit of a dance that needs to happen with manifestors. And manifestors, you need to just inform before doing. And if you're looking to take control over something, because maybe you're in a room full of generators or a room full of projectors and generators, and nobody's really kind of like initiating. Everybody's sort of like passive or something like that. And you as the manifestor is like, oh my God, we need to just make this happen. You need to ask before just taking control of that entire room. Hey, everyone, I've got an idea of how we can move this project forward. How's about XYZ? And then probably the whole entire room will be like, oh, okay, go for it, right? Tell us what to do, please. That's what generators will be like. Please tell us what to do so we can go and do it. And bearing in mind that there's a very subtle difference between being told what to do in that controlling kind of way and having something to respond to. Tell us what to do so that we can respond. We can have that response to say, yes, okay, I'm going to take over that part of the project, that I'm responding well to that. That feels really good. It's very, very different than I'm going to take that over and I'm going to basically take it away from you, right? Very, very different responses there, very different actions that a manifestor can take in those particular situations. And manifestors, like I said with my son, it was like, do you want to see something dangerous? And boom, he's doing it. Manifestors have a tendency, and sometimes this is where manifesting generators can be lumped in this a little bit sometimes, especially if they're not following their strategy and authority. I have manifesting generator friends and manifesting generator clients, and I have manifesting generators on my team. And sometimes there's this action before informing. And I'm like, why did you go and take that action? Like, you didn't tell me that you were going to do it. I didn't even know. And then it leaves the rest of us feeling like, what the heck? I thought we were a team. I thought we were part of this whole entire thing together. And so that's where some of the anger and some of the resentment can come in with your relationships if you're a manifestor or a manifesting generator. If you are just taking off and initiating or you're moving somehow, like let's say you know, you're traveling with a bunch of people and you just decide to go for a run in the morning and you don't tell anyone. We're all waking up and we're like, where's Sally? And we have no clue where you are. And that's really upsetting for everybody else because we're just like, shit. And if you have a reputation for doing this, a lot of the times you know, other people in your life might be like, oh my God, they're doing it again. How come they didn't say anything? How come they're not telling us? All we want as a generator, I'm speaking as a generator here, all we want is to be informed. Now, the reason why a manifestor won't inform is probably because you spent your early days as a child being stopped for having this power inside of you, perhaps, right? Like, imagine if I continuously stopped my child, you know, from initiating in his life. He would be very angry and he would end up growing up like being very secretive and not letting people know because you don't want to be stopped. You can't be stopped. You are a bullet firing out of a gun and you need to be able to do that. But in order for you to have healthy relationships, you've got to just let us know, hey, I'm going to fire this gun now. Hey, I'm going to go for a run in the morning. If I'm not here, that's just where I am. It's not permission. You're not asking for permission. You're just telling us. That's it. That's cool. Okay, good. So now I know not to call the cops and try to find out where you are when all you've done is just gone for a run in the morning. That is how you are going to get respect from people, is when you're like, okay, everybody, this is your inside voice. This is a mess. I'm going to take control here. That's your inside voice, right? And now it's like, would anybody object if I took lead on this project? I've got some ideas on how we can initiate it, how we can get it going, how we can start it, how we can make it move forward, right? Now, bear in mind, all types have access to that level of intelligence and to that level of initiation. You don't have to be a manifestor. If there's no manifestors in the room, you're a generator and you see that it's a bloody mess and it feels correct for you to take over, then by all means volunteer. If it's really going to help the project and it feels really good and really in alignment and you have the energy to be able to carry it out and you're not pretending to be certain, you're not trying to prove yourself in any kind of way, and you really do feel that if you took control over this project that you'd be able to take it to the next level, then by all means. But what ends up happening a lot of times is people try to take control because they're coming from some sort of fear. They try to take control because they're trying to prove themselves. They're trying to take control because they're trying to be certain about something, or they might be trying to avoid something, right? So just be very, very clean on when you are about to take control over something. And as a manifestor, just inform, just let us know, ask permission before you go and swoop in and take control, because nobody likes that stuff, right? Now, projectors. I love projectors. You guys communicate by being invited and recognized for your genius, right? For people to recognize your genius, you basically need to just follow your natural design, which is one of somebody who is very intelligent, probably quite creative, and has a lot of wisdom to share in this lifetime. You guys can see this big picture view, and you can see the things that are just like kind of, this is not going well. Let's say in that room again, things are just not going well. And you see that. If you were to just spout off and give advice to everybody, you're not going to be received well. People will be like, don't tell me what to do, not recognize your genius, basically. And what you need in order for you to communicate in the best possible way is for somebody to recognize you, is for somebody to say, hey, you are super smart and you seem to know what you're doing. Can you help me with this thing? That is the best environment for a projector to be in. And to have that recognition and to have that invitation to be able to share your genius and to share your advice and your wisdom with the room or whatever. So manifestors, generators, and projectors can all have emotional authority. So remember what I said before, you might just need a little bit of extra time to process and get to that clarity within yourself before you are making any kind of decision based on whatever is being communicated to you or how you are being asked to communicate. So now if you have a generator in your life, right? We covered this a little bit before about how as generators, we need to receive communication. So remember, if you have a generator, if you're a manifestor, you're a projector, and you've got a generator in your life, ask them questions, right? And as a projector, you're here to ask them questions so that they can know themselves better, not questions that are going to better your life. That's not healthy for you. Projectors are here for other people. Projectors are here to help the other person understand themselves better, right? That's why you guys are here. And that's when you are going to feel the most successful, is when your advice is taken and used, right? So when you're around a generator or a manifesting generator, you just want to, ask them questions. How do you feel about that? What would you like to do about this? Do you want Chinese or do you want Japanese or Italian? Whatever. And please don't interrupt generators. Upon learning about my own style, recognize that multitasking is actually incredibly unhealthy for me. Coaching other generators, it's very true. We have a very hard time going from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. Manifesting generators, you have that ability to be able to multitask, read and watch TV. But generators, it's a lot harder for us to do that, and especially depending on your design. So my design also has the ability to be able to focus and go in really, really, really deep. Now, this is not to be confused with shiny objects and scattered thinking and all that. That's an open head center. That's a whole other video. But what happens is when a generator is interrupted mid-sentence, we can completely lose focus and forget what we were saying. And that's so upsetting because we really just wanted to say what we wanted to say. We have a captive audience. Somebody wants to hear us. And so we want to say what we have to say. And so it's really helpful if you don't interrupt generators when they're delivering their material. Manifesting generators, I just touched on that. So if you have a manifesting generator in their lives, recognize that they are able to multitask. They are able to do more than one thing at a time. So, leave them be. If they seem happy in what it is that they're doing and it maybe doesn't sit well with you, it doesn't mean that they can't. Of course they can, if that is correct for them. And if the 2 or 3 things that they're working on at a time is making them feel good, right? If they're frustrated or if they're not loving it and all that, and manifesting generators, if you're hearing this, if you have 5 or 6 projects on the go and you hate half of them, you didn't enter those things correctly. So you need to go back to following your strategy and authority. But if you are enjoying those things, then leave them be. Let them do their thing. That is what they're here to be able to do, okay? If you have a manifestor in your life, just remind them to inform you. An unhealthy manifestor will just take off or switch gears without telling people, because probably they've grown up in an environment where they were that ability to initiate, that ability to be able to trust themselves and just make a quick decision and initiate an impact would have been really dampened. And, like I said before, I have a manifestor son, and I can see how manifestors could be dampened down because my son does just take off. And it is terrifying when you're walking down the street and there's cars. And so there is that Don't do that. Don't do that because it's not safe, right? And so just be careful of how you're communicating. And this is especially true with your children. Be careful how you're communicating to your children and to the people around you. And if you have a manifestor in your life and they are wanting to initiate and they've got these ideas and they feel like the timing is right, and you're a generator and you're an emotional generator, it's not healthy for you to tell them, oh, just wait for clarity, just wait. That's you, that's for you, that's not for them. Unless they're emotional manifestor, of course, then they do need to wait for clarity. But they have a different way of being able to take action in the world than a generator would. A generator is very step by step. A projector is here to advise, and a manifestor is here to initiate. So just let them do their thing. Let every type do their thing, and you'll find that this world will be a heck of a lot more harmonious. If you have a projector in your life, which I have 2 in my personal life, and I have quite a few clients, client projectors as well, it is about recognizing their genius and inviting them to share their genius, right? And projectors can have the reputation of being lazy, of, not really being there. And that's so not true for projectors. It is really just that projectors don't have the same level access to that sacral energy that generators and manifesting generators have. We have got that energizer battery power on all the time. And that can be very, very exhausting, especially if you're around manifestors and projectors. It's very exhausting for them. And a projector, can't have that level of go, 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 go all of the time. And I wish I'd known that years ago where my family was concerned, because there was a lot of impatience. There was a lot of, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go, which is me, but that's not them. And recognizing that and giving them their space to like kind of get their motor running, which they don't really have that motor, they're borrowing mine, and allowing them to be recognized and invited, right? And so with my son, who's a projector, I'll ask him, would you like to, play cards with me? Would you like to play with me or whatever? And when he asks me things, he'll sometimes say, Mommy, can you play with this with me? Can you do this with me? He's inviting me. And sometimes I have to say no, and it crushes him. So recognize that for a projector, that invitation, it goes both ways, but it's helping them feel that they've been recognized, and inviting them to do things with you so that they feel that they're part of the team or part of the family or part of whatever it is. And if you have a projector on your team in the business point of view, then, make sure that they're an advisory role. Do not put them in a 9-to-5 work your butt off role. Same with manifestors. Don't put them in those kind of roles, because they will burn out and they will hate their job. If you put them in an advisory role, projector, you'll get so much more out of that person. And then just make sure that your team is informed that they need to recognize and invite the projector to share their expertise with the team. Okay. So I hope that this has been, informative for you in terms of how you can communicate within your own family, with your friends, within your business, because having an understanding of how all of the different types talk to each other greatly improves the quality of life and the quality of business exponentially. It's crazy how much better my relationships are with everybody, because as a generator, I understand, oh, okay, this is a projector. So now, hey, I really recognize the way you just did that. That's really, really cool. Can you show me how you did that? Right? Like, just think about that for somebody for a minute. Now, there's so many layers to human design. It's not even funny. And there are people, myself included, who have projected channels. I have 3 projected channels in my body graph. And I'll show you those in a second. And basically what that means is that I need to be recognized and invited to share my expertise with you. So this is my body graph, and this channel right here, this 4816, the 4323, and the 4037. So if you're not familiar with what all of this is, you're looking at this going, what the heck is a channel? That's what these are here. This is the ones that, the lines that connect the centers, okay? These are all considered projected channels. And if you notice, two of them are connected to my throat center, which means that the two channels that are connected to my throat, and the only ones that are connected to my throat, are ones where I actually need to be invited and recognized to speak my genius. And so if I just try to spout off about the depth of knowledge that I have about human design, and the enthusiasm that I have about sharing this amazing tool, and sharing about what I know about business, and sharing what I know that can help impact people's lives and change people's lives. And I know, this is a channel of knowing, deep intuitive knowing. I just know things. And when I am in a conversation with somebody, if I get something and I'm like, I know that this is truth, and they didn't ask me, and I'm like, oh, by the way, it lands very, very flat with that person. Or even if I'm in a crowd of people or something like that, or and I'm like, oh, you know, here's some depth of genius that I have that I'm really enthusiastic and excited about, and I know that this is going to change your life and impact you. If you're not ready to hear it, or you didn't invite me to hear it, you're not going to hear it. I'm going to seem like a freak, or you're going to be like, I don't understand what she's talking about. You might be experiencing that with me right now. But you are here and you did ask for this information, so hopefully not. So you can see that human design is quite complex, and you know, it's multi-layered, but it's something that I'm so incredibly passionate about. And I hope that you are looking at this journey with an open mind and open eyes and an open heart, so that you can learn more about who you are, so that you can, you know, live your best life and run your business in the way you want to run it, and understand yourself more, so that when opportunities and when things come in, you have a real solid way of knowing what to say yes to, what to pass on, and all of that kind of stuff. The work that I do with people is deep, it's transformative, and we support businesses, we support entrepreneurs, we support professionals. We have a whole team of people who support you in every possible way that you can think of in terms of business, from the mindset piece to self-worth, to packaging and pricing and raising your prices, to you know, strategy and online marketing, offline marketing, doing events and workshops and speaking, and we even have nutrition and stress and lifestyle support. We are a full service company that is here to help support entrepreneurs and professionals like yourself, so that you are not only just understanding yourself better, but now you can really continue to build if you've already got one, or start a company and a business that has a very solid foundation that you're going to be able to take with you for the rest of your life. And it is my pleasure and it's my honor to be your guide here through human design. And if you want to take this this journey deeper with us, then there's several ways that you can do that. You can have a one-on-one session with me if you would like to have me go through your chart in a more detailed way and help you understand you more, so that you can make better decisions in your life and in your business. Or you know, of course, we have other coaching opportunities with the entire team if you're looking at something a little bit more long-term or anything like that. Just reach out to us and let us know what it is that you're looking for, and chances are we have something out here to support you. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you being part of this community and part of this training, and I'll see you in the next training video, wherever that is, wherever you are, wherever I am. Bye for now.